Have you ever had any experiences in your life in which, you're going through it, it's so painful, it could be so dark, that you just said, this is not fair. I mean, I'm a good person, I don't deserve this, why me? It's just not fair that I have to go through this. Have you ever had something like that happen to you? I know I have, and I get to meet so many people traveling around the world doing what I get to do in life, and I've heard some stories that it just doesn't seem fair at times. As an example, I was doing a program in Hawaii a number of years ago, and this is for a very, very internationally large company. I think they have like 65,000 employees. And one of the big bosses of the company, after my presentation, said, Kurek, I need to talk to my team for a moment. Your program made such an impact on me that I need to share something with my team. And he went on to tell all of us about this story about when he was at a sports game with his wife and his 2 children. And they were sitting up in the bleachers, and his 2-year-old was sitting on his lap and said, I want to go over to mommy. And he put him down, and he went to walk probably about 3 or 4 feet across the little walkway of the bleachers there, and the 2-year-old, inches away from his mom's fingertips, fell through the hole where your feet kind of go in the bleachers and literally fell to his death. And you hear that story, and this man who told this story is a wonderful person. He's a good person, he's a good husband, he's a good father, he's a good team leader at work. That's just not fair. Why does those things happen, to good people? Has anything like that ever happened to you? For most of us, there is something that has happened that you go, man, that's just not right. If you know my story, a lot of people do, is when I used to be an actor in Hollywood, I was doing a movie with Chuck Norris in the Philippines, and while filming the movie, I was involved in a helicopter crash in which 5 of my friends died, and one of my very best friends, Mike, who at the time was 29 years old, had died in my arms. After me pulling him out of the helicopter, he was on fire, and on the way to the hospital giving him CPR and mouth-to-mouth, he died. 29 years old. Mike was a great guy. A fun guy. Everybody who knew Mike loved Mike. Just not fair. Have you ever found yourself saying that? It's just not fair. It's not fair why bad things can happen to good people. I mean, why doesn't it happen to all the bad people? How come they don't get the cancer? How come they don't get the disease? How come those things don't happen to them? Well, the truth is that it really happens to all of us. Good, bad, and different doesn't matter. The truth is that bad things can happen to good people. And no, it's not fair, and you're right. It's not. But here's the thing. That's not going to help you. Saying that it's not fair is never going to help you. Matter of fact, it is going to hurt you because it gets you stuck in that story. It gets you stuck in that pain because every time we look at that, we keep dwelling on it and we keep thinking it's not fair, and that just kind of disempowers us and we go nowhere with it. But the truth is that it's going to happen. Stuff in life happens. It does. And bad things can happen to good people. Yet it's all going to come down to what are you going to do with it. See, the truth is that we only have so much energy to use throughout a day. So the percentage of that energy is 100%. There's no actually such thing as 110% because that would just be 100%. So we have 100% of our energy to use. Now, if you're wasting energy being upset over here, and you're wasting energy thinking this is not fair over there, and you're wasting energy with this little drama over here in your life, how much energy do you have left to live a quality, fun-filled, enjoyable life? Right? Because that's called the shotgun approach. A shotgun is where it's like a rifle weapon, and out of it comes a bunch of pellets. And as the energy goes out from that gun, the pellets go out and start creating a wide spread. So at close range, the shotgun is quite effective. But in long range, because the pellets are going off in many directions, well, it's losing energy, and the power is going all over the place. Yet if you take that same amount of energy that's coming out of the shotgun and you put that behind a single round, a single bullet, like a sniper weapon, well, you can take an apple off a fence post, hundreds of meters away, sometimes miles away. For some people who are really good at it. So the truth is that we have to concentrate our power and take all that energy that we're wasting on things that don't serve us and put them towards things that will serve us, that will give us a better quality of life. And the truth is, it's not fair. Life doesn't turn out the way that it should. That's the truth. And it never will be. So it's a waste of time and it's a waste of energy trying to make it fair, because it never will be fair. Life doesn't turn out the way that it should. Life turns out the way that it does. And now it comes down to, what are you going to do with it that creates the experience of life that you get from it? And that helicopter crash I was telling you about, well, for 2.5 years it almost took me off the planet. I mean, every night I had a gun in my mouth, I had drugs up my nose, I was smoking cigarettes, I was drinking booze like it was going out of style. I was just trying to kill myself. As a success coach, I guess I'm pretty grateful I'm not successful at everything in life. But I realized this wasn't helping me, this was hurting me, to think why this wasn't fair, why I lost 5 friends. And by the way, all of those people who died were great people. They were wonderful people. It wasn't fair. Some of them lost, one of my friends was, his son had just turned 2 years old 2 days before the helicopter crash, and he died in the crash. It's not fair. And that idea that it wasn't fair was creating so much pain in me that it was debilitating me from living a great quality of life, but it also was, as you see, there was other behavioral things that it was causing. So what did I do with it? Well, one day I asked, what's great about this? What's great about the helicopter crash? And you might say, no, how could there be anything great about something like that? Well, ask and thou shalt receive. I asked, what's great about this? And I found out, just by asking it, that, well, first, I lived. That's pretty good. Second is that, at least I had 5 friends to lose. And that all the care that could have been given to these guys to try to save their lives was given to them, because I witnessed that from everybody else helping, and from myself. I know without a doubt that every bit of care was handed to these guys trying to save their lives. Also is that my best friend Mike died in my arms and not in a stranger's arms. He was with somebody who loved him. And I forgot to mention that I also helped save 2 people's lives that day. But see, when you get caught up in your drama, you forget about the good stuff. And see, so life isn't fair. It never has been fair. It doesn't turn out the way that it should. It turns out the way that it does. And it's all going to come down to, what do you do with it that's going to create the experience of life that you get. I hope this was of real value to you, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. And until I do, have a most outstanding day.